Hello and welcome to episode number 237 of the Armin Show podcast. We are in the place to be. We got the visual. We got the audio. Who is my guest on this episode?
Bob Varo.
Bob Varo is here. Bob, welcome to the show. Also, Mike, always close by. Bob, you are a music producer.
Yes, sir, I am.
You're from Belgium.
Correct.
You're a Belgian music producer.
Yep.
Okay, so a lot of different things I wanted to cover, but first, how long have you been a music producer?
For, let's say, I started professionally around 2015, 2016, when I started, following some courses in music production. Went to a city called Ghent in Belgium for music production. Got, the taste of, producing, making songs. And, from then on, it started. Worked from some independent artists. Went to Abbey Road in Amsterdam, making music. And that's how it's going.
Were you born in Ghent?
I'm born in Ghent. That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about Belgium.
Well, Belgium, how to say this? It's a very old kind of city. Yeah, we have a lot of culture. We have a lot of good beers, good fries, as most of the people know. And yeah, we have some good music out there as well. Ghent has very, good music scene. We got a lot of like cool places to make music and perform, and a couple of nice studios as well. Yeah, I like it.
Would you recommend the average person to visit Belgium? If so, where would they visit?
If they visit, I would suggest them to go to Brussels, Antwerp, Ghent, because those are like the main big cities in Belgium. And yeah, you should go check it out. There's a lot of stuff to do there. Very nice restaurants and a lot of things.
What's one place you went to specifically in Antwerp, which has a funny name to it?
In Antwerp, there are a lot of great cocktail bar there. Yeah, I gotta still think about a couple of names. Can't remember them at the top of my head, but
they're gone.
Yeah, we have nice places there. Sometimes a little expensive, but it's worth it. If you're visiting Europe, make sure to go to Antwerp.
That's pretty cool. What is the national language of Belgium?
Well, we have 3 languages actually. So we have the northern part, which is Dutch, Flemish speaking actually. And then we have the French part, which is the south part. And on the right, we have a little German. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So for, such a tiny country, we have a lot of...
It's split into 3 different language sections.
Yep. All to do with, like, the war and everything, everything back in, was it 1945? And
that makes sense.
That. Yeah.
Last question out of nowhere. What's the population of Belgium?
How many people?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No
idea. But, I mean, Flanders is pretty crowded.
Yeah.
Like... The other part, the French part, Wallonie, is less. Because it's like, more geographical, like mountains and whatever, and a lot of river, lakes and whatnot. So, yeah. Flanders is really flat, so, we build houses wherever we can.
That's cool. What languages do you know, by the way?
I speak Dutch, of course, Flemish, my main language. I speak French as well, but as I'm speaking more English, French is not really that good anymore, because I'm speaking more English and Dutch and French and German a little. I can understand it, say a couple of phrases, but that's it. It's not too complicated.
I gotta check one. How would you say I am currently on the Armin Show podcast in Dutch?
In Dutch? Ik ben nu op de podcast met Armin hier in Los Angeles.
This is great. Long live that. That's cool. Is there any language that's similar to Dutch?
Well, we have the Netherlands, of course.
Yep.
That use exact same words, but it's just like a different kind of dialect, if you would say that. You have a couple of different words, but I mean, you could perfectly travel there and speak your own language. And they even have it, I think, in like the south of Africa. But it doesn't like, it sounds like it, but they have different words. But we could understand it, I think, a little.
A little bit. That's cool. Music production. How did you start? What age were you like, I like music?
That already started actually when I was super young, around I think like 5, 6, 7 years old. Listen to different kinds of bands like Yazoo, Green Day, a lot of punk rock bands actually. And that's when I decided, I want to learn an instrument. So I got my guitar, a classical guitar, around 7, 8 years old. It's like this whole academic school with all the partitures, tabs, or however you call it. yeah, I did that one. And after those 4 years, I was actually pretty tired of practicing the guitar. Got kind of bored of it, and I was like, "Wow, I don't want to do it anymore." So my parents took me to another school where I'm actually teaching guitar right now,
Oh,
um,
cool.
back in Belgium as well. And yeah, I really got the taste of playing the guitar and like playing along with Oasis, Wonderwall, the first songs that everybody learns on guitar. Green Day songs, like really strumming the guitar and play like more famous bands. You know what I mean? And it got me really interested in playing the guitar and like, hopefully one day make a living out of it. So yeah, and from when I started going to that school, certain things started to happen. I got to meet a certain guy that was in like a death metal band. He introduced me to an electric guitar, got myself an electric guitar for my birthday, joined his band. Then I got to another teacher while I learned to appreciate artists like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Dream Theater, like really guitarists, you know what I mean? It's all instrumental music, and that's how I got fascinated by sound as well. I wanted to know like, how does these records sound? How do they sound so virtuose and so huge? And yeah, I did some other stuff in the meantime as well. I played bass for a certain pop rock band in Belgium as well. And this guy introduced me to music production because he was like, "Bob, you're a very good guitar player and all that, but I feel like there is something more behind you. There is, you have more interest instead of just playing the guitar. Why don't you go and look to do something in music production? We have in Ghent a conservatory. Maybe you should try and apply for that." So that's what I did. I went to a school which was supposed to, prepare me for the conservatory. Unfortunately, they didn't, allow me at the conservatory for whatever reasons, because there's only very select people that can, study there.
No Belgians
So, yeah.
allowed.
I've no idea what it is. Still don't know up to this day, but whatever it is. And yeah, from then on, I was like, fuck, kind of sucked and I feel kind of bad. But in the end of the day, there was only one thing that's in my mind, and that's I want to make music. So I started looking up on the internet, and then I came across Abbey Road Institute in Amsterdam. And that was just an eye-opener for me. The school wasn't even there yet. They were building it. And it was the first, elite group of people that could go there. Only 10 students there were. Yeah, it was just amazing. Like they admire my enthusiasm and like how I want to make things work, and the songs that are already mixed, produced, and they were like, there's maybe some potential in this guy, let's get him in here. So I did this whole course in Amsterdam, and from then on, dude, I'm serious, this just went up. I mean, I met so many people from here as well, still friends that I have right here that are, doing music every day. And yeah, that's how I got into music production, step by step. It's like this road that you're going, you're trying to find your way. Some things work, some things don't work. It's trial and error all the time, and step by step you accomplish some cool things, and hopefully we'll get better every day.
Now, that's a wonderful thing, right? You practice each thing. Everybody's got their craft. You work on it. Have you, what kind of creations have you made or performing, or how have you applied your skill?
I've done different things. I have my own solo project called Bob Varo, where I'm focusing on doing everything myself. So I write the song, write the lyrics, play the guitar, do the drums, bass, synths, everything possible, just to see how far I can go. Besides that, I had a couple of other projects like Varo, which was like a progressive metal band, back from Belgium as well.
What kind of different software have you used or are you good at?
Well, I used Pro Tools all the time, since it's been used at the school as well, and it's still like an industry standard. But for me personally, I started using Studio One from PreSonus, which gives me just...
Wait, did you say PreSonus?
PreSonus, yeah.
My recording thing is an audio box USB PreSonus.
It is, and I think it's a great company, and they deliver great products. And for me, Studio One is the perfect solution. I mean, I used to use Logic as well, but it just didn't feel right as I was used to Pro Tools. So I was like, let's try something else. And back in Abbey Road, people started talking about Studio One, and I was like, let's give it a shot. and it was pretty easy. You just buy it. You don't have to worry about any subscription or whatever, and it's very easy, to like combine the audio editing and the whole MIDI thing. Works out perfect for me. Some people are like, Studio One, what is it? I'm like, you should try it. And like more people start to try the software, and some like it, some don't. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Where the industry goes, if Pro Tools is still gonna be the main thing, if it's gonna change or not, who knows?
Who are some people you've seen, other performers or people you'd want to work with, or people you want to work like? Is there anybody that comes to mind that you're like, I like what they're doing, or I'd like to work with?
Yes, I do. There's actually this band called Mannequin Medicine from Los Angeles that I met on my last trip at the Viper Room. And they are really good. I mean, it's like a rock metal band. They have great leads, good guitar, rhythm stuff, and whatnot. And I would love to work with them. Like, I'm trying to figure things out with them and try to, make a record and put some stuff together.
If you work with them, what would be your contribution there?
Well, as a music producer, I try to add value wherever I can. Depends on the artist, of course, what they want. But yeah, I mean, I can help people out from songwriting to recording it to mixing and mastering it. And that's also a bit of the idea behind the work that I want to do. I don't want to be only a mixing engineer or mastering or whatever, because I'm an artist as well, so I like to contribute in different ways. And again, it depends on the artist. Like, if it's someone that just wants mixing, of course I'll do it. But I like to put time into a project and don't just like mix it and done. I want to meet the people, get to know their ideas behind the music, like talk like what's the plan with this project, where do you want to go with this, is it supposed to go somewhere, or is it just for you, whatever, and then fill in the blanks and just help where I can, help them write a good song, sit together, write some lyrics, write a good melody, find out some guitar stuff. I like to have a good relationship with the people I work with, and for future and just for satisfaction, because I mean, like, if you're working with an artist, I think it's very important that you feel the music as well. I mean, if you're if you're like a top guy in the industry, you will do a great job. But me, as I'm like still trying to figure my way out, I think it's very important to get to know artists and look what their sound is and how they want things to sound. I don't want to be the guy's like, this got to sound this way or whatever. I want to talk and make it a whole package.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Connect with the person there.
Yeah, exactly. Or band, whatever, or producer. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be an artist. Even if it's a producer, I want to, collaborate in some way. I just,
Yeah. Now, one thing that comes to mind is when you think of production, is there something you lean towards? Like, one example was one rapper was talking about how Puff Daddy would get one person there and then one person to do the hook, and then he would think to use this one sample, and that was it. And he didn't do anything. He just brought those three things together.
There you go.
Is that a main part of production, or is that a small percentage? What would you describe that as?
Depends, again. I think more in like hip-hop and rap genre. I think there is more like... And especially also in pop, of course, like if you go on Spotify or whatever and you check credits for a certain song, you will see a whole list sometimes of so many different people that contributed to it. In rock music, it's different. Like, not saying all rock bands, of course, but especially in my genre, metal and like prog metal or even certain rock bands, most of the time it's just they did it and it's like produced within their band people, you know what I mean? It's not,
it's their crew.
Yeah, it's
Linkin
not like
Park.
this guy is writing this guy is writing this, and now let's put it all together. No, it's more like like a band, like you get together, you write something, and you get this one guy that produces you, records you, or whatever, and that's more rock genre. I think it's not always like that, but I think most of the time it is. So.
That makes sense. Do you have any favorite? Is Linkin Park rock? That's the only group I can think of when I think of a band.
Which one?
Linkin Park?
Linkin Park?
That's sort of...
That's like more like new metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like new metal though. Like my favorite bands are like Five Finger Death Punch, Disturbed. Yeah, dude. I love new metal. Like modern sound, you know what I mean? I think that's also another thing. Like if you hear pop industry and all these things these days,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta somehow adapt, or what is the correct word for it, and like follow a little bit in this stream of samples and different sounds and like more modern sound, you know what I mean? Like back in the day was the band all together in the studio, all mic'd up, you record it,
Yeah.
and then you mix it and it's done. While these days, and the possibilities with all the software that we have,
Uh-huh.
you can make rock and metal way more interesting with all the possibilities, instead of just record it, mix it. Now, you know, like even back in the days with tape and everything, it's just one take, it's got to be right. You know, you can do some small stuff, or like, you know, cut it, whatever, put it back together, I don't know. And it's very, then you need to have good performance, you know what I mean? And now these days with these possibilities, that's what I'm trying to do as well with my music, is try to make it sound as modern and not as stereotype as how a rock or metal band should sound like.
Oh. They have a certain style that they normally sound
Yeah.
like. That makes sense. What's one difficult thing you've run into when you're doing some sort of production? What's the challenge you're like, I'm stuck? Or maybe close to stuck.
You mean like when I'm recording something?
Do you run
or-
into any musical difficulties, or is that your main area where there's no issues and it's smooth all the time?
It's definitely not smooth all the time. I mean, you're working with people, you're working with artists.
Mhm.
Everyone has a different perspective,
Mhm.
ideas, and it's kind of your job as a producer as well to kind of bring it all together and, you know, keep everybody happy. But at the same time, you know, sometimes make decisions and tell them like, okay, but I think it's better to go for this thing. You know what I mean? Like try to keep everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
And bring a good idea to the table that satisfies everybody, instead of just, you know, I'm gonna do my thing or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Huh. That's cool. I haven't done production, but I made a few rap songs online, and my friend helped me with that. I have a friend, he's a singer-songwriter, Gary. He's been on the show before, and he plays guitar and does some
Mhm.
behind the scenes, but it's not more rock or other categories.
Gotcha.
Most people have their own specific categories. I want to add in a nice little segue. One of the recent times that I rapped, because I rap quite often, was at a Halloween party. This is where I met you, Bob. I was a dinosaur. No, I wasn't a dinosaur. I was a vampire. What were you for Halloween? And isn't it cool to meet people at Halloween parties?
It's great. I didn't dress up.
Uh-huh.
I didn't dress up.
I was a scary vampire, and you were not.
You still remember it?
Yes. That's true. Good point.
No, because I got invited like last minute, so that's why I was
Right.
like, okay, whatever, let's go over, you know, and chill there. Because I was like, fuck, and everybody was like, what are you dressed up like? I'm like, I didn't really have time to get something, sorry.
The good news is, if I am any indication, not much is remembered of you not dressing up or dressing up.
There you go.
It just
That's a good
disappears.
thing. That's a good thing.
But there was a dinosaur there. There was a Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones there. A police officer. All kinds of...
It was a cool experience, man. It was my first time that I got into like a house party, Halloween party thing, and it was a great experience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I only see these kind of things in like movies and shit, and now I was like there, and it felt great. You know, like be appreciated here, and that's also a thing that I like about Los Angeles compared to like Belgium. You really feel home here, and you're not really seen as the guy from Belgium or the tourist or whatever. You know what I mean? You feel at home here. You meet people from all over the world every day, and you're all about, you know, making friends, having good connections, you know, build up a relationship. That's how we met, you know what I mean? And that's just great. You know, every day things can happen. Every day you meet people that might, you know, give some opportunities for whatever in the future. If it's music, is it's, you know, just a good friendship to get dinner, get some food, whatever. Everything's around here. Get an Uber, you're there within 15 minutes or whenever you want to go. I mean, I love it here, man. It's just...
There's some nice features about the area. And that is true. You can, if you're someone who's active, there's a lot of creativity opportunities or collaborating with other people
Yep.
that it wouldn't be the same in Idaho or some part of Canada.
Same in Belgium, man. That's what I tell so many people. Like, everyone thinks like, oh, Europe is cool, and I want to go to Europe. It is cool, but it depends on what you want. And me, as a music producer who likes to meet people every day and make contacts and get things going, Belgium is not the right place. That's why I always would suggest people to, if you travel somewhere, spend there at least a couple of weeks so you really get to know the people. Depends on what you want to do, of course. If you're doing like a world tour, or a quick tour through Europe, and you want to check out the most the coolest places, travel from Amsterdam to Brussels to Paris, whatever, all very easy with the train, that's great. But if you really want to have an idea about how things work, you should at least spend a couple of weeks there. And yes, that's for me was the big game changer, that as I'm trying to make my way into music production, Belgium is not the way to go. Like, I could even go to Amsterdam. Amsterdam has a lot of similarities with Los Angeles, but still there's it's like a more EDM, electronic music place. And there's a place and time for everyone, and it's just not Europe for me. I get, and also through my school, my school time back in Abbey Road, I met so many people that were already doing stuff here, and I was like, wow, possibilities in Los Angeles are so much bigger, and I can do so much more music.
Are there any places in Europe that have some of the have more similar elements to Los Angeles as far as like a creative hub, or not really?
United Kingdom, for sure. There's a lot of rock bands out there, a lot of music happening there as well, very similar to here. Same with Amsterdam.
But so like all of the UK?
I don't know like the specific areas, as I've never really been there. Actually, a friend of mine just moved there, and yeah, he's having a great time there. He's like a singer-songwriter from Spain.
Where did he move?
Yeah, London. Yeah, to London. Yeah, and I met him actually at an Airbnb here, and he was performing at the pier, and it was like he's making good music. Then he moved to London, and I think there are more possibilities for him there. And that's his way to go. It all depends on what you do, what you want to do, and then you look for the right place to be, and then you just go there and make it happen.
Right. You wouldn't maybe decide, I want to go to Bulgaria, and now it's to push the...
Well, if I met people wherever and they're like, things are happening in Bulgaria, there are like so many rock bands, I would be like, cool, like, I want to check it out, let's go there, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, wherever things happen, that's what I want to do as well, like my main goal, main dream is have my own studio, but also be an artist and like, travel the world, see places, and I know some very cool producers here that do that kind of stuff, and they travel to a studio in Spain and do stuff there. Then they travel to Abbey Road in London, do stuff there. You know what I mean? It just makes it all exciting. You know what I mean? You get to see different places to make music and keeps it interesting. You know what I mean? In Belgium, I'm just stuck at my one place. While I'm here, I meet people, and I'm like ready to, see what else is happening in the world.
What's cool about Abbey Road? You mentioned it a few times. What's cool about that area?
Abbey Road.
Or that road.
Big love for Abbey Road, man. That was such a big eye-opener. These guys, it's run by 3 people. And yeah, how do I say this? It's a 1-year course. And you'll learn so much about everything from microphones to recording to even music theory. We learn about live sound as well. We do songwriting. We do, all consoles, outboard gear, how things are routed through patch bays and stuff like that. We learn all about that shit, and it's a very intense course. I mean, you gotta, work. But it's just amazing because the classes are only like for a couple of hours. Around like, classes start around, I think 11, and by like say 1 or 2 classes are done, and then you can use the studio spaces there to record music, so you can bring your own bands, you can record them there, you can do songwriting, mixing, mastering, whatever. It's all available. There's just this book laying at the office. You sign it. Like whenever I want to record something, you can bring people from everywhere. I brought a band called Experience from Belgium. They drove all the way there. We had a good time. We recorded some metal music, you know what I mean? It's just cool, you know. It became like a whole family thing, Abbey Road, actually. Also because we were like the first students there. We had kind of this luxury to really get to know each other as well as the people that teach us. And yeah, man, it's just great. You record music, and you know, there was a bar downstairs. Whenever you're finished recording at 10 or whatever, you go downstairs, grab a beer, jump on my bike, go home. Takes like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? Just a beautiful experience. And the people are, and say with the people around you, like your fellow students, they are very, you know, they were all from different genres, people from hip hop, rock, EDM music, and you know, but everyone gets along so very well, and we help each other out where needed. And there's not like this pressure or anything. You're just there having a good time, making music, and you know, and we're still there for each other, you know what I mean? Like I have certain people call me. Like my friend actually just moved to Romania, to Bucharest. Like I call him sometimes. He's doing his thing. There's my other friend from Amsterdam that also calls me sometimes. You know what I mean? It's been a big game changer for me, definitely.
Yeah. That's kind of neat. It's cool when there's like a small class and then you all become friends and it was just you guys. It's like a thing you always remember. Like we 8 people, we did that.
Yeah, and the people from Abbey Road as well. Like my friend Robin Rumors, the director there. He knows so many people. Same with my other friend here who's living now in Hollywood, Emiliano Cavallero. Same thing. They knew like so many cool studios there. So we drove all the way with the car to Calais in France to take the ferry to the United Kingdom, and then we drove all the way to, how was the studio called again? Oh my god, I already forgot it. Rockfield Studios in Wales, that was it. Where like Coldplay, Queen, the Oasis, the Wonderwall, when they were sitting on and when they, you know, were writing that song. Oh, cool. We visited that studio, went to Whistleoord Studios in the Netherlands as well. You know, like huge studios that we visited. Same with some other people that were for like big artists in the industry, and that was such an eye-opener for me. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? I didn't know that music could be so much fun, because from what I learned from music and back in Belgium, I was very like this, very close-minded and not really like, you know, I'm here to have a good time and make music, you know what I mean? It's got to be like hard and like studying, you know what I mean? Well, those people in Amsterdam, you know, they became like friends and people where you can, and that's the most important thing. You can talk to so many people as you want, but if it's only music that they're talking, it's, how do I say this? You know what I mean? If I hang out with other music people and you can just have a cool conversation about whatever happened yesterday, what your plans are for tomorrow, not music related, you know what I mean? That's what I could do at Amsterdam, you know, just talk and don't always be like, oh, it's got to be music and there's music, you know what I mean?
Right. You want to be able to connect with the whole person, as people, and then we also do music.
Because that's what lasts forever, you know what I mean? Forever is a hard word to use, but still, you know what I mean?
It has a long term.
That's the intention, you know what I mean? If I work with people, I want to, you know, have it for the future. And, you know, I want to record people, but at the same time, I want to be able to hang out with them, grab a beer, grab a coffee or something, and just talk about whatever, life and whatever it is, you know what I mean? About birds, about trees, whatever it is. I don't know, man.
I have to add in that information. This episode, we have birds and we have trees around. It's very nice. That's a cool feature. It's very important that as far as like I don't know if it's a like personality discussion or what is valued, there's always the short-term thing. You can make a quick like transaction with somebody and get something done, but it's not the same as if you connect with them in full, because this one feels weird later. You just did it and then it's done and then you just disappear and then it's always like, that's it. But you do this one, the thing is small compared to, you're still 2 people to continue on. So the person who has that long-term mindset, they always do better 1 year away, 5 years away, 10 years away, 20 years away. Just for that short bit, it might be feel better to do a quick transaction. But anything longer than that, it's nice to. The person's still gonna be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a life message.
That's important.
That's kind of neat. I always like to throw in a little bit of variety here. Do you read anything in the books category? Do you like books? Are you opposed to words?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
He's opposed to words.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and a lot of people gonna hate me for this, but I don't read books actually.
That's fine. Okay, everybody takes in material differently.
I listen to podcasts.
Uh-huh.
I like to listen to different people's ideas. Not even about music, you know what I mean, about
like insights.
Space, nature, you know what I mean. I love different kind of things. I love nature. I do sailing. I used to do karate for a lot of years, surfing, you know, going for walks.
Oh, what other instruments do you play other than guitar also? Do you play any other?
I play the guitar, so classical, electric, and acoustic guitar, and I also play some bass, some drums, but it's just basics, you know what I mean, and some keyboard, you know what I mean, just basic chords, and just enough to get my creative flow going if I'm writing music for whoever.
That makes sense.
Or for myself.
Mm-hmm. Some people like to take in more audio, some people like text, some people like visual and video. Was it fair to say you're more audio oriented? You like taking in audio generally?
Definitely, and also video.
Video.
As I think I can be really satisfied with just listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
Just put, you know, my headphones on and listen to some music and appreciate what's been done. But I think for the most people, having some visual is also important to, you know, see the faces that are behind a song or behind whatever it can be. And kind of, you know, it's a better way, I think, also to connect with some people. Like as we're doing this, you know what I mean? You see our interaction instead of just, you know, listening to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see facial expressions, you know, you see how someone looks, if he's happy, if he's sad, you know, whatever. And it helps with, you know, feeling more connected to people. Same with video clips. I think that's what I think why video clips are still very important, because, you know, you can have a really good song,
mm-hmm.
but you want to see some action, you know what I mean? You want to see how they perform and whatnot. I want to go check them out live, and you know what I mean? I think, yeah, audio and video is very important to me, yeah.
That makes sense.
I'd love to do some writing, though, like, you know, explain my story and what I've done. But I think just talking about it is way easier for me,
mm-hmm.
because I know, like, if I start writing something, I always feel like, but this can, same with music, you know, like, oh, this can be better, and it's sometimes hard to say, like, now it's done, gotta put it out there, and just work on the next thing. It was very hard to do it with music, actually, because I was trying to, you know, every time I listen to it, I let the song rest for a week, if it was, like, my own stuff, and I listen back to it, it's like, oh, I can change this, but if I wait another week, then I can change this, and it's gonna sound better, you know what I mean? You gotta say, like, now it's done, put it out there, work on the next thing. Same with books, I think, like, you can keep changing words, like phrases, put it somewhere else, whatever, you know. We gotta be able to say, now it's done, and work on the next thing. And don't be afraid for negative comments, because there are a lot of them, and you gotta see through it. Believe in yourself, feel confident about it yourself, and, you know, just put it out there, and there will be an audience for whatever you do.
You know, that point you just brought up is something I'm very into. I'm really good on that category of just whatever it is, boom, here it is, it's out there. One time Seth Godin, he's a blogger, writer, he talks about shipping everything, just ship it out there. So yeah, I'm very much with that. You can fix little things, but people, you have a general feel for what you're putting out. It's not like little things are gonna change so much of how the other person takes it in. But if you don't ship it out, they can take nothing from what you said. So that's why I always like to be, I'll record a rap and I'll just put it out. Some people might be like, why is he doing that? Or I put an article. But once in a while, some people are like, thanks, that was great, or this is good. I'd rather be on that side.
There are a lot of misconceptions about people, especially in music, like for the people that are not into music, or not, like, you know, professional at it or whatever. They think, like, you know, you gotta have a how do you call it, like, just a big hit, you know what I mean? And everybody sees, like, oh, the song came on, you know, what was it, Gangnam Style thing, for example. It just pops up and you're like, wow, you know, you got to be lucky. You got to have this one hit. But how do you think that these people, I'm not sure about this Gangnam Style thing. I don't know the story behind it, but you would be surprised if you hear how many years and hard work that went into certain things before something finally got released or finally made some success. That's what I'm doing as well. Like, I put some music out there. It doesn't have a lot of streams. Still, I'm surprised that I get, you know, daily listeners to my songs that are from like all over the world, which I'm pretty surprised by. But one day, you know, I mean, you will put out this song, got to know some people that support you and willing to make some promotion, make an article about it, or like, you know, this guy keeps doing what he's doing. Let's put it out there. And then it's going to become, you know, hopefully a success. And like, wow, you know what I mean? This guy did something. And then they're going to start listening back to it.
Right, your catalog.
Some people, and some people don't. The mainstream listener, I think, will just listen to that song and move on to the next thing. See if Spotify playlist, you listen to different songs, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They probably won't go back like, hey, what's the first song they ever released? Maybe 8 years ago. You know what I mean? How did that sound like? Probably not. So that's a lot of misconceptions about that, I think.
Right.
But yeah.
And there's the
Get
point.
what I mean, right?
Do you even want that big hit? Sometimes it's nicer to have little things that build up over time. If you get some sort of hit out of nowhere, that's cool. But then, like, now you have some expectation that, oh, it should be like that. These ones, are they good enough? Should I delete all these now? But you'd rather have, this is way cooler when you have a lot of little things. Because you can't mess with that. That's like a foundation. It's there.
Yep. Well, the thing is, if you put a music out there and it becomes a really big hit, there are again two different ways. Or you got indeed very, very lucky and you got this one song out of the blue that someone supported. Is like, I'm going to boost this song, get like millions and millions of views. Then it's very hard, I think personally, to keep this creative flow, if you can even call it creative flow, going. You know what I mean? Because you're not used to it. You get this big thing and
now you're thinking about that.
Yeah, and then other people start doing the shit for you. You know what I mean? Like write songs and whatnot. I'm like, if I get a big song one day and get a couple of, you know, I don't know, 100,000 views or something, or listeners, whatever, I am still used to just making music, you know what I mean? Just pick up my guitar and jam. And I think personally for me, there won't be much of a difference. Of course, there's going to be a difference. You know, you're going to do more shows and you're going to get more gigs and stuff like that. But your mindset is still going to be the same. You're still going to keep your creative workflow going, because I need it to, you know, be happy. If I don't pick up my guitar for a week, I feel sad. I want to like pick up and jam something. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a great point in life. If you have your thing, everybody's got their things, your baseline stuff. As long as you keep to that, you don't get distracted by things that show up or don't work out or whatever, and you keep doing your baseline thing, you can go no wrong. When you let this thing slide, then you're in trouble, because now you're attached to this thing. Then this disappointment causes more impact on you. This success causes too much impact on you.
Yep.
But if you keep this baseline, you're nice and relaxed all the time. This is a great point. One last thing I always like to check is, if you had a megaphone to tell all people of the world something about what you do or what you like or what you would want them to know about your music production, what might you say to all the people of the world? What's a message you might have for all people? This is that challenge question nobody's ever ready for.
You mean like for potential clients, artists, or people that I'm going to work with, or just like more in general advice? Or
what would you tell people about the field of music production?
For people that are trying to make it in music?
Yes.
I would say be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
Work on it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have any expectations.
No expectations.
Be yourself. Stay true to yourself.
Whatever your interests were.
You're going to get disappointed. You're going to get, as we say it, I don't know if it's the same in English, but walk with your head against the wall a lot of times. Then you got to turn around, keep walking, and keep going. Because I think, you know, if you're just persistent and work on things every day, enjoy the process as well. Don't be like, I need to write this music and I need to do this or whatever. it's not gonna work. Take your time. Keep options open. Don't be focused, but not too focused on one thing. You know what I mean? And just keep a daily routine. Take care of your health. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get in jail. And you know, the day will come, and it's not even for music, it's for everything. Entrepreneurs, people that are trying to do something with their lives, is it fashion, is it film industry, whatever. Be persistent, work on it, and be a human. Be kind to everyone, and you know, be the best person you can. When there's a moment for it, you have moments you feel sad, you have moments, you know, you don't feel like it, and that's okay. We're still humans, but you know, just keep going. Don't ever stop.
Boom. We covered all of existence right there. Bob, I want to thank you for having been on episode 237.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Of the Armin Show podcast. Onward. We never do a shake. That's the first time ever on the show, I think, that I had a shake. And we are out.